I'm sitting on the edge of a painfully low cot bed. I've got my head in my hands, it's a loft room, it's tiny, I'm cold, I'm feeling deserted and alone, I'm afraid. I'm really, really pining for my family, and I'm hating my job. I'm struggling to make a few quid as a computer programmer. I'm miserable, I'm 300 miles from home, I'm fat and cold, and I'm angry with God. I mean, I'm really angry with God. I just don't want to talk to him anymore. It's London, it's the middle of the night, it's 1996, and I'm upset because I've just been home and my kids don't recognise who I am anymore. Because what happens is I go down to London in the week and I work there, and then I come home at the weekends. That's the arrangement. The father that owns the house I'm staying in, he's a church pastor, and the mother's a doctor, fairly standard arrangement. They've got 2 kids. They love it when I go and all of that stuff. But the fact is I'm fed up. And it's a fairly standard arrangement, not the fed upness, but the doctor pastor thing. So I'm in this loft room and I've just been to the toilet. So I'm sensing that sort of come here and listen to God moment. He wants to speak and he wants me to listen, and I just don't want to. So I say to him, I say, don't bother, what's the point? Nobody listens. And I'm saying, I did what you said, and now look at it. Look at the state of it. It's a total bloody mess. Look at what you've done. I've got no money. My kids just looked at me like I'm a complete and total stranger. And I hate this. And I said, this prophesying and trying to help people stuff, it's more like a curse. It makes me remember what kind of Jonah felt like. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to change. You might as well kill me now. And that's the conversation I had with the one and only God, the God of love, the creator of the universe in which I find myself. So in that moment, God gives me an insight. I believe he said to me something like this: there's going to be a change in the government. Look at Pilate, how he gave them Barabbas to please the crowd, to satisfy the crowd. They'll be like that. They're always trying to please the crowd. It'll mark them out. So I can't not hear, because it's God and it's a gift, and it doesn't depend on me, and it doesn't matter what mood I'm in or how angry with God I am in the moment. So I go to sleep and I have a dream. So in the dream I'm being attacked by a violent demon, and he doesn't care. He's brutal, he's fierce, he's slobbering, he's bloodthirsty, and he's hell-bent on killing. He's all of them things. And in this moment he's hell-bent on killing me. And I'm hiding in this Spanish galleon and in the Irish harbour. But the ironic thing is, I'm aware it belongs to him. And as long as I'm inside it, he can't get us, even though I'm really, really scared. But he's trying his best to attack us, but he can't get us as long as I'm in the ship. See, he's too big to reach in. And he's been commanded to leave by God. He's been commanded to leave the place by God. He's an opponent of the kingdom of God. And he's off to work through Islam now. Now that's what he's doing. He mocks me, and then he moves off, and with great strides walks across the sea towards England and the rest of Europe. Then I wake up terrified and in a sweat. And God speaks to me again. And he says, this change in government is going to result in a change in Northern Ireland. It'll go a long way to peace, but there'll be like embers remaining in a dying fire, and the smoke will continue to affect the nation into the future. And of course, me being me, I immediately think that I've got to move the whole family to Ireland, and I don't know how I'm going to explain that to wife. Then he speaks to me again. He says, one more thing, your kids are really important. They need their father. Go and talk to your wife. I'll provide for you. So then I'm silenced. So what happens is I travelled home that weekend, and Cindy and I decided, even if it means losing everything, including our house, home is way more than that. And it's better to be at home for the kids than to continue with this job in London, even though I wouldn't have a real job to do. So we decided to quit and just see what happens. But the very next week, the company I'm contracted to introduce this kind of home working situation, which is really only for their staff, but somehow I get it as well. And over the next month, so it starts off, it's kind of 3 days down there and 2 in the north. And then what it eventually ends up as is I go down on a Monday morning for a meeting, and then all the rest of the week I spend back in the northeast doing my work up there. And God provides, and we don't lose the house. Yay! So we move on with our lives, and I read a few books about a potato famine, and I read a few books about Islam, and I look into moving to Ireland, and it's ridiculous, I know. But as usual, the messages kind of become part of me. It's like, it's just part of me, forever. That's how this prophetic stuff works sometimes, just in case you don't know. So New Labour comes into government under Tony Blair, and it's all about spin. It's all about pleasing the crowd. It's all about controlling the message. And it probably still is that, and it probably always has been that. But the fact of the matter is, they were marked out by that. There's no question about it. They even said famously one time, "We don't do God." That's how much they control the message. So we get the Good Friday Agreement, that's good, but there's still small sections of the IRA kicking around, and eventually we think the troubles, as they're called, are over. They're behind us as a nation. But in 2018, the issue of the Irish border is front and centre in the talks with the European Union. And that's a problem. So on September 11th, 2001, the World Trade Center in New York suffers a major terrorist attack, and the war against terror begins. I was on the golf course at the time. Everybody knows where they were when it happened. I actually watched it unfold live on TV when I got home. So we get Iraq, we get Afghanistan, we get awarded the London Olympics, and the very next day we get the 7th of July 2005 Islamic terrorist-inspired bombings in London. I should say Islamist terrorist-inspired bombings in London. Then we get IS or Daesh, whatever you want to call them. I'm sure I can hear all kinds of questions about God in this, like why does God allow evil like this? And maybe I'll do another video about that somewhere else. But there's answers about why that happens all over the internet. Good ones as well. But if you're really interested, you'll go and find out why. You might not like it, but the fact is, it is there. But look, I'm a prophetic gospel-y guy. So the most noteworthy aspect to me is the idea that somehow the British New Labour government, led by Tony Blair, has discovered that there's still evil in the world. We even call it like an axis of evil, as if it's like a new thing. And there's this attitude that somehow evil has come in and it's infected the utopian view of the post-Enlightenment 21st century world. You might need to look that up on the internet as well. I did. So long with the USA, the British Parliament decides, and all the British press as well, decide they've got the means to deal with the problem of evil by military endeavour. But what they actually discover is that they're really powerless to deal with the problem of evil. And in fact, all their efforts seem to do is breed more evil. Because spiritual problems need spiritual solutions. You can't beat Satan with bombs.